In the digital gold rush of the 21st century, fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye. We've heard the stories, the Bitcoin billionaires, the overnight crypto millionaires. But what if the gold wasn't real? What if the mine was just a hole in the ground and the person selling you the shovels was a ghost? This is the story of a revolution that never was, a currency that never existed, and the woman who sold the world a multi-billion-dollar lie. This is the story of the OneCoin Illusion. The year is 2016, Wembley Arena, London. The air crackles with an almost religious fervor. Thousands of people from every corner of the globe have gathered not for a rock concert, but for a financial messiah. On stage, bathed in spotlights, is Dr. Ruja Ignatova. Dressed in lavish ball gowns, adorned with diamonds, she is the picture of success. She holds a doctorate from Oxford, a past with McKinsey & Company, and a vision that she promises will change the world. She speaks with intoxicating confidence, her voice echoing through the massive hall. She tells the cheering crowd that Bitcoin is old, news, clunky, complicated, a relic of the past. She, Dr. Ruja, has created its successor, a Bitcoin killer. It's called OneCoin. It's easier, safer, and destined to become the world's #1 cryptocurrency, accessible to everyone, from London bankers to villagers in rural Uganda. She wasn't just selling a cryptocurrency, she was selling a dream of financial liberation. To her followers, she was more than a CEO. She was the crypto queen, a visionary leading them to a new financial promised land. They poured their life savings, their retirement funds, their children's college money into her vision. They bought educational packages that supposedly came with tokens to mine OneCoin. The more you invested, the more you could mine. The more people you recruited, the more commissions you earned. The value of OneCoin displayed on its own internal exchange only ever went up. It looked foolproof, a one-way ticket to wealth. But behind the dazzling presentations and the promises of a revolution, a darker truth was hidden in plain sight. There was no blockchain, there was no mining, there was no cryptocurrency. The numbers on their screens were just that, numbers, typed into a server by an administrator. It was a phantom, a ghost in the machine. OneCoin wasn't a Bitcoin killer. It was a globally scaled Ponzi scheme, meticulously designed to prey on hope and greed. While investigators at the FBI and Europol were just beginning to connect the dots, millions of investors worldwide were being drawn deeper into the web, convinced they were on the verge of becoming millionaires. For the believers, the crash wasn't a sudden market dip. It was a slow, agonizing descent into confusion and denial. The first cracks appeared not in the price, but in the promises. Dr. Ruja had promised that OneCoin would soon be listed on a public exchange, allowing investors to finally cash out their incredible profits. But the date kept getting pushed back. Excuses piled up. Technical upgrades, regulatory hurdles, market preparation. The reasons were always plausible. It's delivered with the same charismatic certainty that had hooked them in the first place. Then, the silence began. In October 2017, Dr. Ruja Ignatova was scheduled to speak at a major event in Lisbon, Portugal. But she never showed up. She had vanished. The crypto queen, the leader of the financial revolution, had boarded a Ryanair flight from Sofia, Bulgaria, to Athens, Greece, and disappeared off the face of the earth. She left behind a $4 billion house of cards, teetering on the verge of collapse. Her brother, Konstantin Ignatov, who had been the public face of the company in her absence, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight, trying to calm a growing storm of panic. But it was too late. In March 2019, as he stepped off a plane at Los Angeles International Airport, he was arrested by the FBI. The news sent a shockwave through the OneCoin community. The leader was missing, her second-in-command was in handcuffs, and the authorities were officially calling it a fraud. The exchange was frozen. The withdrawals, which had always been difficult, stopped completely. The life savings, the retirement funds, the borrowed money, it was all trapped. People who believed they were sitting on hundreds of thousands, and even millions of dollars, were suddenly faced with the horrifying reality that their accounts were worthless. The numbers on their screens were meaningless. They couldn't sell what never truly existed. The crash wasn't a market event. It was the moment the illusion shattered, revealing a gaping void where their money used to be. The emotional toll was devastating. Families torn apart, lives ruined. and a trail of victims stretching across more than 175 countries. The dream had become a global nightmare. So how did one woman, armed with little more than a powerful story, manipulate millions and orchestrate one of the largest financial frauds in history? The answer lies in a perfect storm of masterful psychological manipulation and glaring gaps in financial literacy. First, Dr. Rougeau weaponized the fear of missing out FOMO. The crypto boom was real. Stories of Bitcoin millionaires were everywhere. She positioned OneCoin as the next big thing, a second chance for those who had missed the first wave. This created a sense of urgency, a nor-never pressure that bypassed critical thinking. People weren't just investing, they were securing their spot in the future. Her fabricated credentials, the lavish events, and the cult-like community created an echo chamber. When everyone around you is getting rich, when a charismatic doctor from Oxford tells you it's a sure thing, you stop questioning and start believing. This is classic herd mentality. The scheme was structured as a multi-level marketing MLM network, which meant investors were recruited by friends, family, and community leaders, people they trusted. This personal connection overrode any external warnings. The most critical mistake for investors was a fundamental failure in due diligence. They trusted, but they did not verify. A simple question, where is the blockchain, would have exposed the entire fraud. Like Bitcoin, which has a public verifiable ledger, OneCoin had no blockchain technology at all. The entire operation was centralized and opaque, the exact opposite of what a true cryptocurrency is meant to be. Investors poured money into something without understanding its basic mechanics, seduced by the promise of the outcome rather than the integrity of the process. The lesson from the OneCoin abyss is brutal, but essential in any investment, especially in new and volatile markets. Skepticism is your greatest asset. The more revolutionary the claim, the more scrutiny it demands. Never invest more than you are willing to lose, and never ever allow the promise of high returns to silence the voice of reason. Look for transparency, decentralization, and independent verification. If it sounds too good to be true, like a risk-free, ever-increasing asset, is almost certainly a lie. The crypto queen may be gone, but the tactics she used will be back, dressed in new clothes, selling a new dream. The question is, will we be wise enough to see through the illusion next time?